Almost 10 o'clock. This special instrument comes from Bern, Switzerland. I called it Helios, the Hijaz hung. It's in that special scale, the ancient Egyptian scale. You might recognize that Middle Eastern overtone there. It's a sacred instrument. And we're going to take you on a couple of magic carpet rides today with this sweet little sounding instrument. This is my first time to be at this location where there's so few people, so you're going to have to bear with me. I know that we have people tuning in. It's like there's an audience, but there's not. You guys are over here. You guys are way over there. You're here. I'm going to do my best to speak to all of you. So forgive me if my eyes are like looking around, but that's the nature of this beast. 4th of July. I think we all expected to be a little further along the road at this point in the year, didn't you guys think we would sort of be hugging and dancing? And I remember when they called me and said we'd love you to do it and pick a date, and I tried to keep pushing it. I thought for sure the 4th of July it's going to be, you know, all all the rules are going to be gone. But here we are. So take a deep breath in with me. All right, thanks for that. Appreciate it. All right, 10 o'clock has arrived. I think we're getting ready to get started now.
Aloha. Kakahiaka, good morning. Welcome to New Thought Center of Hawaii. All you folks out there in Cyberville and all of you beautiful people here today. Thank you for making the effort to come here and share with us live and in person. It's I'm always excited when Dreaming Bear's here because, well, it's the 4th of July. I get to wear this hat I bought 2 years ago. I didn't get to wear it last year because there wasn't anything to wear it for. And so I'm excited that it's the 4th of July. And then I thought, you know what? Dreaming Bear always brings the fireworks spiritually, physically, sensually, every way. And I think the thing I enjoy the most about you is how you are a wordsmith player. And I love to do that myself. So I really, really am so happy you're here today. Finally. I know I had you on the schedule a long time ago, actually last year or something. So here you are. Well, we're, let's say, three-fourths of the way to getting back to normal. At least we're here, we're able to be here. That's a wonderful gift. And so to start out with, I'm going to read from the Science of Mind. Today's reading, Freedom to Be. Freedom is not the right to live as we please, but the right to find how we ought to live in order to fulfill our potential. That's a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. The freedom which the all creative wisdom has designed for man is marvelous beyond human perception. That's from Ernest Holmes. Freedom means different things to different people, but basically it is the power to or right to act, speak, or think as we want without hindrance or restraint. When we talk about the various freedoms we enjoy in the United States, we're often referencing our constitutional rights: freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and freedom of the press. Quite simply, freedom gives us the right to choose the life we want to live. In a spiritual context, freedom means all those things and so much more. As incarnations of the one mind, our freedom to choose plays out on a much grander scale. After all, our oneness with all that is means that we have an entire universe of possibilities available to us. Wow, think about that. Whew. It's sometimes difficult to wrap our brains around what it means to be free, to embrace the infinite, and even more incredibly, what it means to have it embrace us back. Oh, yes, did I forget to mention that? The universe roots us on every step of the way. And as a bonus, spirit does not judge or reward one person more than another. Ultimately, only we get to choose how to express our freedom. We are always free to make decisions that empower us, but we are equally free to embrace choices that do not serve us. When we intend wholeness and align with spirit, we liberate ourselves from painful missteps and lay the foundation for a richer, more satisfying life. I'd like to have you all, I'll read the affirmation and then I'll have you join me in saying it all together. I am a free spirit, and the source of my power is the God within. I am the free spirit, and the source of my power is the God within. So, um, I have a wonderful intro for Dreaming Bear coming up in a little while, but right now I'd like to invite him to get us all into the mood, and he's going to be opening with a beautiful musical meditation.
Yes. Thank you so much, my dear. It's an honor and a privilege. I'm so grateful that you are here. And thank you so much for being who you are. Thank you guys for allowing me to come and be with you again in this auspicious timing. I mean, let's look at the world as we see it right now. It's just 2 days ago was World UFO Day. I'm not sure if that triggers anybody, but then a few days before that, the government announcing that they actually have UFOs in their sites. I think that that sort of sets the stage for where we're headed this year. You know, it's a little eye opening to know that they're revealing some things. I think that we're in store for an unprecedented experience, to say the least. Not that we haven't already had that, but where we're headed as a group, as a collective, it's potent, it's exciting, but it's also a little bit scary, a little bit uncertain, as it were. So let's address some of those uncertainties today. Let's speak to them. Let's not take for granted this wonderful time that we exist in. I know that most of us think of the pandemic as a bad time, a bad year, but in many ways, it was probably what humanity really needed, a big break from that rat race where everyone gets chewed up. And so for a year, we've had that break voluntarily or otherwise, as the case may be. But the question isn't what are we facing? The question is what are we going to do with this opportunity? Because while it's also a great tragedy, it's perhaps the greatest opportunity we've ever faced as a generation. When I think about people like Sir Thomas Newton, you know, or anyone who had something really potent to say during times of crisis is usually when they really rose to the surface. So this is our time to really rise to the surface. So I'm going to open with a little prayer. We're going to do things a little bit differently since we're out of the norm. Let's just go ahead and break the box. Let's just go ahead and say rules. Who needs them? We'll use them a little bit here and there, but let's just try to adhere to the Metamorphosis Day. We call this the Day of Independence, Let's call it the day of transformation. Let's call it the day of metamorphosis. So I'm going to break the rules a little bit, if you don't mind. For the opening prayer, I'm going to do what I call a prayer performance. It's going to be a combo prayer, meditation, and poem. But with the muse, I've invited my muse, Destiny, to come and join me. Why don't you come up here right now? She's going to be dancing the dance of the muse so that if you get tired of looking at my mug, you can see something beautiful moving around the stage here. So we'll have her join us. Just let the words sink in, let the rhythm take you where it wants. Close your eyes if you want to. Just let it fill you up. We're going to start with a little prayer right now. So if you would, just close your eyes. Great spirit and maker of all life, here we are. Once again, gathered together, beautiful beings, the New Thought Center of Hawaii. I'm so privileged to be in this community with these people. I pray for a resurgence of that magic, a resurgence of the feeling of enchantment that we all have as our own personal birthright. We're speaking to every heart, every soul within the sound of this voice. We ask now that we would just be the vessels that we truly are, allowing your voice to speak through the beats of our hearts. Allow us to be the living embodiment of what we were meant to be, that which we were born to be. Right now, we call upon the power that created the universe. We ask that you would infuse us, remind us who and what we truly are. Allow us to be more than just spectators of our life. Give us the courage to step forward onto the page of existence that says, true power, this is what I was meant to be. We ask for that in the name of all that is holy and beautiful. Aho. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and deep trees, the mountains and rivers. Meanwhile, birds high in the clean blue air are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild bird, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Someone I loved once gave me a box full of darkness. It took me years to understand that this too was a gift. Instruction for living a life. Pay attention. Be astonished. Tell about it. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes, to let it go, to let it go. Tell me, are you breathing just a little and calling it a life? You must not ever stop being whimsical. You must not ever give anyone else the responsibility for your life. I believe in kindness, also in mischief, also in singing, especially when singing is not prescribed. One day, you finally knew what you had to do and began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life, each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do. Though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible, it was already late enough and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own. And it kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only person you could save. When it's over, I want to say all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder whether I've made my life something particular or real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to simply end up visiting this world. Keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. I want to think again of dangerous and noble things. I want to be light and frolicsome. I want to be improbable, beautiful, and afraid of nothing, as though I had wings. Hello, sun in my face. Hello, you who have made the morning and spread it over the fields. Watch now how I start the day in happiness, in kindness. I tell you this to break your heart, by which I mean only that it break open and never close again to the rest of the world. Ordinarily, I go to the woods alone, without a single friend, for they are all smilers and talkers, and therefore unsuitable. I don't really want to be witnessed talking to the cats or hugging the old black oak tree. I have my own way of praying, as you no doubt have yours. Besides, when I'm alone, I can become invisible. I can sit on the top of a dune as motionless as an uprise of weeds until the foxes run by unconcerned. I can hear the almost unbearable sound of those roses singing. Sometimes I need only stand wherever I am to be blessed. Still, what I want in my life is to be willing, to be dazzled, to be able to cast aside the weight of facts, and maybe even to float a little above this difficult world. You can have the other words: chance, luck, coincidence, serendipity. I'll take grace. I don't know what it is exactly, but I'll take it. To pay attention. This is our endless and proper work. 10 times a day, something happens to me like this, some strengthening throb of amazement, some good, empathetic, sweet, empathetic ping swell. This is the first, the wisest, and the wildest thing I know, that the soul exists and is built entirely out of attentiveness. You want to cry aloud for your mistakes, but to tell the truth, the world doesn't need any more of that. So if you're going to do it and can't stop yourself, if your pretty mouth can't hold it in, at least go by yourself across the 40 fields, across the dark inclines of rock and water, to the place where the falls are flinging out their white sheets like crazy. And there is a cave behind all that jubilation and water. And you can stand there under it and roar all you want to, and nothing will be disturbed. You can drip with despair all afternoon, and still, on a green branch, its wings just lightly touched by the passing foil of water, the thrush pumping out of its spotted breast will sing of the perfect stone hard beauty of everything. Snow was falling so much like stars, filling the dark trees, that one could easily imagine its reason for being was nothing more than prettiness. Love yourself, then forget it, then love the world. Poetry is a life cherishing force, for poems are not words after all, but fire in the cold, ropes let down to the lost, something as necessary as bread in the pockets of the hungry. I go down to the shore in the morning, and depending on the hour, the waves are rolling in or moving out, and I say, "Oh, I'm miserable. What shall I do?" And the sea says in its lovely voice, "Excuse me, I have work to do." All right, that's your opening prayer meditation. Thank you for that. Little rusty from the year and a half off. You'll have to forgive that. But welcome. Thank you to Destiny, the muse, for dancing. That was our first collaboration. How did you feel? Feel good? Awesome.
Awesome. Well, we have a little ritual that we like to do here. Um, and we have a lay minister who would like to perform that ritual.
Oh,
Thank you,
yes.
Kai.
I love this ritual. It's my favorite. Thank you, brother. Good to see you again. Absolutely. I'm a little sweaty, but
Actually, that's a very non germ transferring kind of
yes.
touch.
Yes.
You could all try that honey at home for with people you love. Hey, we have some more people. Woohoo, we're growing. Um, so I said I wasn't going to do this now, but talking a little bit For you folks at home, maybe the first time watching this live stream for New Thought Center, just to give you a little background on New Thought Center, is there anybody here in the audience that is here for the very first time? Oh, okay, good. Welcome. So, New Thought Center go. We're about to have our 50th birthday party in September. And it started out actually as a Science of Mind study group that grew into a Science of Mind church that had a minister. And then at some point, the minister needed to leave, and they searched and searched and searched for someone to come and take her place. But Spirit was in charge, and nobody showed up. So the minister finally said, "You don't need a minister. Minister to each other because you're all ministers."
Hmm.
So that's what we started doing in various different ways and in various formats with various guidelines and very little structure, kind of loose so that everyone can flow. And here we are 50 years later, still doing that. It's wonderful. And we find that there's certain parts of our ceremony that everybody absolutely has to have. And and one of those things is sharing of miracles and ordinaries. And so we actually are going to have microphone. Anyone who wants to share miracles and ordinaries. Oh, and by the way, I'm reminded I only have my mask off while I'm talking. After I
Oh,
quit,
that's
I got
right.
to put my mask back on. Everybody's required to wear a mask to be in the space. I I really wish I could say something else about it, but if somebody came by to check on us to see if we were following the rules and they decided they wanted to be mean, they could shut us down. So
Hmm.
we want to follow our guidelines and want everybody to stay healthy. So back to miracles and ordinaries. Those are things that happen and we go, wow, that was a miracle. Or those are things that happen and afterwards we go, wow, that was really special. Wow, okay, that was a gift. Wow. And we recognize it backwards because it was an ordinary. And we have those things all the time in our lives. So if anyone has a special miracle or ordinary that they'd like to share, we invite you up to our microphone. You need to leave your mask on while you're talking. Thank you. We have our beautiful Lara Prince.
Hi, everybody. My miracle I'm so excited to share is that I have seen and witnessed 6 rainbows out of 7 nights, the past 7 nights. That is a miracle. Wow. Total abundance and joy. Thank you.
Aloha, everyone. It's a miracle for me to be back here on the Big Island after more than 4 years of being away. And I used to live here over a period of 10 years. And I know a lot of you, so sending all my love to Big Island. It's so beautiful and a miracle to be back. And a friend of mine on Maui just reminded me the other night to live life in a way that reminds you that everything is a miracle. So I think that's a beautiful reminder. Aloha.
Well, it's been a long time, so lots to share, I guess, but I'll keep it quick. I've been doing Ho'oponopono. When I got back from Thailand, I really wanted to live on the ocean, but I was living with my brother who was an alcoholic, and I had work to do. My mom had been praying for like 30 years for his alcoholism, his parents, ancestral, yeah. So I did the Ho'oponopono. My brother came to the group. He did his Ho'oponopono. He's been sober 2 years, which is amazing. Yeah. And I now live on the ocean as requested. So really give thanks for all the miracles. Yeah.
Anyone else? Wow, that's so awesome. Okay, yeah. So now it's my pleasure to introduce Dreaming Bear. I'm going to read all this. However, words cannot describe this person or what he brings. Oh, I could cry. Why am I going to cry? Wow. The heart he brings with him wherever he goes. And before I start on that, he has a question he would like all of you to think about. And then afterwards, maybe we can all share, you can just share with someone close to you what your answer might be for this. Please ponder, what is my most heartfelt dream and what personal tools do I need, which I don't currently comprehend, to accomplish it? But it reminds me that if you can ask a question, you have the answer. If you can't ask a question, I was at my doctor's the other day, new doctor I went to, and for some specialty I've never been involved with before. And he said, "Do you have any questions at the end of it?" And I went, No, because I didn't know enough to ask a question.
Mhm.
So this is a really, really beautiful thought. Actually, I was meditating on that this morning and when I was trying to wake up. And Dr. Dreaming Bear is a master wordsmith delivering his fervent message with extraordinary verbal dexterity and social relevance. He's a nomadic bard, a hip mystic, and a modern language Suffolk style philosopher poet, all rolled into the best verbal alchemist to hit the scene as long as I can remember. If you'd like to experience a living combination of Spalding Gray, Rumi, Jack Kerouac, Robin Williams, Shel Silverstein, Michael Talbot, and Thich Nhat Hanh, you owe it to yourself to see Dreaming Bear. And that's a quote from Mike Marino, Elevate Films. I found that and I thought, boy, that's so pertinent. It totally describes him. The foundation for Dreaming Bear's work as a transformational epic orator and poet storyteller is deeply attuned to the natural world and to the ancestry of his mixed cultural heritage as half Cherokee and half Palestinian. His time as a university teacher researcher was further defined by 3 years spent living off the grid in a treehouse on Maui. While immersed in the forest and farming life of Echo Village at Twin Falls, he began to take his artistry to a new level and developed many of the works that have proven to be inspiring to so many, including the award-winning book Wild Love, Kissed into Consciousness. Dr. Dreaming Bear is the award-winning author of 13 award-winning books and 11 mystical albums. He is also the president of Levolution Foundation Charity, which does a lot of good work around here and really helps promote love. And that's what we're all about. Anyway, that's what we're all here. Get rid of all the thoughts and ideologies and ideas and limits and all of that. And the only thing left is we're just here for love because we are love. That's all we are. So with that, I'd like to turn the floor over to Dreaming Bear.
Mahalo. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. That's a lot of words to introduce me. I'm grateful for those words. I didn't come up with them myself, so I think of myself just as a lover of the moment. That's how I like to describe myself. And when I do come to die, I hope that my epitaph just says he was a good lover to the moment. That would suffice for me. But I'm honored nonetheless. I have goosebumps. I don't know if you can see them over there, but I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be here in this moment. It's an auspicious time for us to come together. And my topic is metamorphosis. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But my method is a little bit different. You saw a little bit of the method just now when we were doing the prayer formants. My method is to use poetry as a way of getting across a deeper message. So you'll have a pregnant message coming from me in just a few moments. But before that message begins, I thought I'd just talk to you a little bit about the the whole concept of metamorphosis and what that looks like. And you know, we we have this opportunity right now on planet Ocean, and the opportunity is to decide what's next. What are we going to do next? Where's our life going to lead us? Where are we going to put our eggs? What are we going to create? That's the question on the table right now. We have an opportunity, and metamorphosis, transformation, is upon us. That's it's out of the question. It's already started. Transcending from the known to the unknown. That's what we've been doing for the last year and a half. There's something mystical, something enchanted, something beautiful about the unknown. It's special, it's powerful. It invites us into a fascinating place. It points towards one of the greatest problems of humankind, the issue and purpose of our suffering. You've probably been thinking about this for the last year. Most people live their lives without even realizing that they are suffering. We unconsciously try to escape feeling it in so many different ways, through work, through the many distractions of our senses, and through the multitude of projections of our mind onto the world and those around us. But the fact is, you can only come face to face with your suffering when you embrace your aloneness. That's when you begin to claim ownership of yourself. We've all been confronted with that this year. So most people manifest their karma externally and they wonder, why is this happening to me? And that's where they feel oppressed. And they don't own their own karma, and therefore they become a victim of it. It's your awareness, it's your breathing, it's your presence that burns the karma off. And this is the great mystery of alchemy, that you have to own the shadow you carry, even though it's not really you at all. It just comes with the vehicle. Your oppression, the particular nuances and flavors of your suffering and your karma during this lifetime are exactly equivalent to the greatness of your inner light. In fact, their purpose is to awaken that light. So, transmutation is a part of metamorphosis. It's an ongoing process. Many mutations make up a transmutation. Many small breakthroughs lead to bigger breakthroughs as more and more trapped, oppressed light is released within our DNA. You might be feeling this. The gift of transmutation occurs more as you enter into the present moment. You can feel it. Once you become aware of your oppression, of your suffering, of your karma, it becomes more acute. That's the first thing that happens. But then, wherever you go, there it is inside of you, a divine ache, a kind of deep, restless longing to remember something. So, the genius of metamorphosis is that it thrives on adversity, because you know when another shadow appears that that shadow contains more light for you, and then you welcome them and you draw them deeper. That's what I've been doing this whole year, just drawing this experience, because all transmutation takes place in the cauldron of poesy, what the Druids call the cauldron of poesy. Here in the abdomen, all karma is churned and burned away. And that's why we keep returning down to the abdomen all over again, because this is where it's all happening. Now, adversity is all about time. It takes a long time to burn off all that ancestral anguish that we carry. Our body, our life may even become the battlefield for this to play out, but you can trust the process, because what film or book or drama or good story about overcoming adversity do you know that doesn't take almost forever to conclude itself, right? It's always just right at the end. And our lives are an allegory of the playing out of consciousness as it burrows into form, transmutes and digests it, and before its true nature can be realized. Your life story, our story, this new story that we're beginning right now, and all great stories begin with a period of innocence, a great trial where you're tested to your limits, and then finally there's the atonement. That's where we're headed now, the victory. That moment, you can sense it, you can feel it. We're on the verge, we're right there. Metamorphosis. And with this transmutative moment, going from the known to the unknown, all those little mutations that occur as our awareness transforms the shadow on a daily basis lead to the great transmutations. And these great transmutational periods are usually very intense, and they become more and more intense as our frequency rises into the gift frequency and beyond. The gift frequency, your gift you carry. Contemplation, that state in which your awareness is turning inward on a regular basis, gives way to absorption. And when this stage is reached, you know, because your whole frequency begins to move into another realm. The intensity remains, but your life becomes at the same time softer, quieter, and your effort begins to fall away. Your effort begins to drop completely away. And what's occurring is that your genetic memory is being cleansed, purged, expunged. And as it falls away, a new being is literally emerging in its midst. That's what's happening to us right now. And you become suffused with your own presence, your own essence, and your awareness is now so inward as it comes to a point of complete rest. And then magic occurs. You reach the authentic center. It's about victory. It's about authenticity, redemption. It's the sun coming out after the storm. It's the great leveler that only those who really own their own suffering own their own destiny and really bring their life to this kind of a peak. So the world is getting ready, once again, to embrace the magical realm, the enchantment, that place that we originally came from. All it takes is a few transfigurations and the game is up. The illusion has been broken. And we see through the veil. You are permanently altered from the known to the unknown. That's transfiguration. That's metamorphosis. And that's where we're headed. That's where we're headed. So I'd like to take you on a journey that sort of takes that thought and allows us to go a little bit deeper. You got about 15 minutes to take a journey with me. Is that okay? Maybe 20 minutes. What time have we got here? What's our time? We're at Okay, so I actually have 30 minutes, but I'm not going to use them all. I'm not going to use them all. I'll just try to be real brief, okay? So, before I go there, I just want to tell you a little bit of the history of what I've been doing lately, just to kind of give you an idea. You know, we had some talk about where we're headed, but when I was a young man, I had a dream. Now, usually when you hear someone say, "I'm going to tell you a dream," it's time to start yawning and looking around. But this was a dream that was a formative moment of my life. I wasn't going to tell you, but I was telling a friend before the service, and they said, "You should tell people this dream. It would make a difference." So in this dream, I'm walking down a giant valley. Okay, millions of people are with me. They're all carrying these heavy like loads on their back, just sort of walking, down all one direction. It just seems like medieval times. Everyone's just getting by, right? And suddenly, the lady in front of me is an elderly lady. She turns around and she has a pen in her hand, and she turns around and she goes, "Be a man or a poet, but don't take all day." And she's holding a pen, and I'm looking at her. And so I recognize I need to either grab this pen or say, "Excuse me," right? So I grab the pen. The moment I grab the pen, everyone around me disappears. Like the valley is empty. It's just me holding this pen now. The lady's gone. And off to the side, I see Walt Whitman. He's got a big straw hat on, a big piece of straw out of his mouth, and he says, "Follow me." And so I start following Walt Whitman, Uncle Walt, up these switchbacks, going up this mountain, up these switchbacks. We get to the top of the mountain. And at the very top of the mountain, I see a 200-foot spiraling turquoise blue flame, just 200 feet into the air, just rising, just magnificent. And around it, in lotus position, I see all of my favorite authors. I see Emerson, I see Thoreau, I see Twain, all the greats. Emily Dickinson, they're all there. They're all just hovering in lotus position around this turquoise blue flame. And Walt says, "There's one little opening." And he goes, "Take your spot." And then he walks over and he jumps up into the circle and he starts hovering. So I'm like, okay. So I jump up and I'm in this place where I'm hovering in lotus position and I'm hearing the voices of all the beings who have come before me. I'm hearing their words. I'm hearing the words of Einstein, the words of Newton, the words of the greats from the past, Martin Luther King. It's all in there, but it's in my voice. I hear their words in my voice, and then I hear my words happening in this. It's all happening. The cauldron of poesy. I found it. And I'm in this place where all voices become one voice, the voice echoing off the beat of each of our hearts, the truth that is resonant within all of us. And as I'm in this unified field, I feel a tugging at my pants, and it's Walt Whitman saying, the living aren't permitted to stay here. You're gonna have to, I just wanted you to taste it to see where you could end up one day if you choose this path. And so he tugged me out of the circle and we walk back down the path and just me and him in the valley again. And he goes, "Make your choice." And he gives me the pen. And I take the pen and I wake up with this feeling of like, I've been to the mountaintop, I've seen the promised land. And that dream happened when I was 18 years old. And I awoke from that dream feeling like I know what I'm here to do. I'm here to be a part of that great voice that speaks the truth. The same voice that's in you is the same voice that was in Einstein. It's the same voice that was in Malcolm X, the same voice that was in all the great beings. And it will be the same voice that comes after us as well, our children's voices. It's the voice. So I'd like to speak to you from that place today, if you don't mind, and share some of the wisdom that I've gleaned along that journey of being in that turquoise flame. And so, is that okay with you guys? Is that all right if we go that direction? All right. So, at some point, if you get bored, just close your eyes and let the words do what they do best. They have a way of speaking to us and telling us what we need to know. Just let it all sink in, the one voice. True happiness is to understand our duty towards love and each other, to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is abundantly sufficient. As long as you live, keep learning how to live. The bravest sight in the world is to see a great being struggling against adversity. If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable. Begin at once to live and count each separate day as a separate life. One of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and to be understood. Wealth is the slave of the wise, the master of the fool. It is not the person who has too little who is poor, but the person who craves more who is poor. She who is brave is free. He is the most powerful who has power over himself. Anger is like those ruins which smash themselves on what they fall. Luck is a matter of preparation meeting opportunity. No one is ever wise by chance. It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable. Time heals what reason cannot. You want to live, but do you know how to live? You're scared of dying. And tell me, is the kind of life you lead really any different from being dead? Things that were hard to bear are sweet to remember. Every night, before going to sleep, we must ask ourselves, what weakness did I overcome today? What virtue did I acquire? If you wish to be loved, love. We are affected not by events, but by the view we take of them. A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a human perfected without trials. Be the kind of person that if we throw you to the wolves, you will return leading the pack. Wherever there's a human being, there's an opportunity for kindness. The only thing that belongs to us is our time. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult. I am not born, nor are you, for just one corner. The whole world is your native land. We are more often frightened and hurt. We suffer more from imagination than reality. Time discovers truth. We all complain of the shortness of time and yet have much more than we know what to do with. Our lives are either spent in doing nothing at all, or in doing nothing to the purpose, or in doing nothing that we ought to do. We are always complaining that our days are few and acting as though there'll be no end to them. Sometimes, even to live is an act of courage. While we teach, we learn. Everything that exceeds the bounds of moderation has an unstable foundation. Ignorance is the cause of fear. It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. A person is as miserable as they think they are. The greatest wealth is a poverty of desires. While we are postponing, life speeds by. Life is long if you know how to use it. It is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness. Take a deep breath in with me. Just close your eyes for a minute. Let go of all this world that we've been living in together for so long now. Let's just let these words wash over us. Just a little bit further on our journey together. Living in a tree for these past 4 years has been like living in a lightning rod for dreams. It's so beautiful. I'm I'm learning to find the meaning. Find the meaning hidden in every tree, every leaf, every drop of dew. Humans tip the balance of our world. No other species can make such a difference, for good or ill. If humans can live in harmony with other forms of life, the world rejoices. If not, the world suffers and may not survive. Answers. Answers come and go, I've found. But the questions, those remain forever. It's much more fun to be the exception than the rule. Some say the end is near, as if that's shocking news. The truth is, the end is always near. But what is actually shocking is that we ourselves can help to choose which end. My constellations are not made from the stars, but from the spaces between the stars, the dark places, the open places where your mind can travel forever and ever. A life, whether seamstress or poet, whether farmer or king, is measured not by length, but by the worth of its deeds and the power of its dreams. I was in a tree once when there was a storm, and as the wind swelled, my tree started to sway, almost like a human body. It swung back and forth gently at first, and then more and more wildly. While the swaying intensified, so did my fear that the trunk might snap and hurl me to the ground. But in time, my confidence returned, amazed at how the tree could be at once so flexible and so strong. I held on tight as it bent and waved, twisted and swirled, slicing curves into the air. With each graceful swing, I felt less a creature of the land and more a part of the wind itself. The rain began falling, its sound merging with the splashing river and the singing trees. Branches streamed like waterfalls of green. Tiny rivers cascaded down every trunk, twisting through moss meadows and bark canyons. All the while, I rode out the gale. I could not have felt wetter. I could not have felt freer. When at last the storm subsided, the entire world seemed newly born. Sunbeams danced on rain-washed leaves. Curling columns of mist rose from every glade. The forest's colors shone more vivid. Its smells struck more fresh. And I realized, I understood for the first time in my life that the earth was always being remade, that life is always being renewed, that it may be the very afternoon of this particular day, but it is still the very morning of creation. It is still the very morning of creation. mysterious and captivating is the one who can live backwards in time. Our souls and the stars and the wings of a butterfly are all somehow connected. Everything is connected to everything else. The heart can see things invisible to the eye. Change. The more you do it, the more you don't. The farther you seek it, the nearer you find it. The less it's in your world, the more it's in you. The best way to protect something is to set it free. The strongest bonds are of the heart. A true name holds true power. The river unceasing, appears to be just a line of water flowing from here to there, and yet it is more, much more. It is all that it is, including whatever hides beneath the surface. No one has ever needed to do it as much as you do. This is your moment. Believe in yourself. The world isn't built on magic, but on people, on their faith, on their actions. Behold, the moment of your reckoning. You were here before the world was young, when bird and beast and flower were just a dream. You will be the land, and the land will be you. If you fail, the land will perish. As you thrive, the land will blossom. Look upon this moment, savor it, so that in the years ahead you can say, I was there. I was there, for it is the doom of men that they forget. Remember. Let these words be a flame that ignites the sun to shine from the sky of your heart, so that those around you who are lost in the darkness of feeling alone, those around you who are lost in the darkness of feeling hurt, might see your light and begin to shine the way young lovers do when they finally find each other across timelessness and grab hands to somehow become God holding hands with God. When that happens, the truth turns into an earthquake as laughter and tears erupt from volcanic veins running deep inside your soul's liquid light love core. The best thing for being sad is to learn something. It never fails. You may grow old and trembling in your anatomies. You may lie awake in the middle of the night, listening to the disorder of your veins. You may miss your only love. You may see the world around you devastated by crazy lunatics, or know your honor trampled in the sewers of baser minds. There's only one thing for it then: to learn. Learn why the world wags and what wags it. That is the only thing the mind can never exhaust, never alienate, never be tortured by, never fear or distrust, and never dream of regretting. You are a question that has never been posed before. None of us can escape our destiny. You cannot glimpse your part in the great story that is about to unfold. Like everyone, you must live and learn. Life is made of little moments, precious as diamonds. But imagine there were an infinite sea of diamonds. They'd all be worthless. They'd be as common as the sand. It's easier to live with darkness if you can dress it up as vengeance. Any fool can die. Living, truly living, takes imagination. When you do something that you're not supposed to do, even if you do it for the right reasons, bad things will happen. When a man lies, he murders some part of the world. Truth turns into an earthquake as laughter and tears erupt from volcanic veins running deep inside your soul's liquid light love core. You may not know it, but at this very moment, there is an entire tribe of wild, rambunctious, naked, giggling angels camped out in hot springs in your navel. They've disrobed themselves of their reverence, and they whisper crazed love songs into each other's ear all night about your most intimate encounters with God after overhearing prayers you once uttered in your sleep as a child, as if to say, "Don't you know? Don't you know? Hasn't anyone ever told you? Everything you've ever wanted, everything your heart desires most, are having a sleepover on a soft pile of blankets folded out on the bed of your tongue." Just speak the name. Just say out loud to your worst enemy the word love. How are we doing on time? We got just a few minutes left. I got 3 minutes left. And I just want to leave you with these few words. When we were the stars, when we were the sky, when we were the rain that turned ourselves into rivers and suddenly became the ocean, we did not say to ourselves, "Where is love?" For then one heart was all there was in the vastness of existence. It was when we convinced ourselves that we were separate from Source, separate from Source, that the illusion of brokenness began. And my, how we have suffered. Pain so deep, so lasting that even tears cannot describe them all. And a sorrow that we had never known before became us. But if we return to the stars, if we return to the sky, if we return to the rains, let ourselves become the wind that breaks into an ocean, we will recognize that we have always been held in the very arms of love, and love will say, my dear, you've been talking out loud in your dreams again, but I dare not wake you. I dare not wake you from your holy, weeping bliss. Thank you so much for letting me come and share a few words with you guys. It's been a privilege, and I'm going to play a little music while you do the offering.
Yes. Before we do the offerings, I know some people like to sneak out a little early. I just wanted to announce that there is a 4th of July gift for each one of you on your way out. So please make sure you get it.
I have two gifts as well to give. I have
Ah.
2 albums.
Okay.
So I thought I would give these to the people whose birthday is closest to today.
Ooh.
Anyone having a birthday?
Ah.
You have a birthday, you
Dana.
get 2 choices. There's the Enlightenment or the Blessing of the Mystics. You can come choose. That's okay. If it's close, does anyone else have a birthday coming up? 2 free albums up here. 1 free, 1 still. No? Okay, sorry.
I have one coming. Not until November.
All right. Whoever wants it can grab it. Absolutely.
Oh.
That sounds like the right thing.
And tell them happy birthday. Oh. So now we're going to have the opportunity to share our gifts with this beautiful man in New Thought Center who have shared their gifts with you. And we have an offering bowl up here, and you're invited to come up and place your offering in the bowl. Other ways you can do it also is you can go online on our website. There's a link to PayPal, and you can make a credit card donation that way. And in this bowl, we accept cash and checks. And you out there in Cyberland, you can click on to our website at www.newthoughtcenterofhawaii.com, and you can find out all the ways that you can contribute to New Thought Center, because we only exist with your love and support. Okay, now for the fun stuff. Um, Dreamy Bear has brought one of his books, which he has for sale over there on the table. They invite you to stop by, and they're going to be how much?
It's on the back of the book. It's a good question. I just let's see. How
Thir-
much are they?
$14.
$14.
Yeah. Okay. And just for a teaser, I found this. I just was flipping through the book. I do that a lot with books and read what my eye falls on, and it says, "Follow your goosebumps." We are born with a kind of self-renewing sacred garment covering every inch of our body as skin. Upon the skin is a sensitive instrument called hair, which lets us know when we are close to something beautiful by standing up on end in the form of goosebumps. There is a ritual magic element to our hair care unrecognized by most modernists. Hair used to be all we needed to fit into our environment, a physical trait as basic as nails and teeth. But few give thought to this original power antenna as anything other than accoutrement. Body hair is a lightning rod of sorts, but the hair on our heads is a finely tuned feature meant to enchant the lover's path. There's
Mm,
lots more, but I'll let you get the book.
Shazam! Thank you. That was a good. That's a good intro.
Yeah. So, other announcements you have?
The only other announcement I have is if you're interested in joining me on my journey that I just mentioned, that dream. I started a series last year that I call Literati. You can kind of see it on my mask here, Literati. And literati is a word that means people who live a life worth writing about. So some of you know I have a 25-acre property here on the Big Island at the Green Sands Beach. We're doing all kinds of amazing things, full moon gatherings. We have a teepee village, a treehouse village. We're hosting people down there. So if you'd like to be a part of that, Destiny's going to be at the table over there. She'll take your name or your phone number or your email address. But the thing I want to mention about literati is I have 240 episodes now. So imagine this. Okay, Matt, just for a second. 15 minutes with someone who's passed. You walk into a moment. Imagine you have 15 minutes to talk to Albert Einstein. You and Einstein have a 15-minute conversation with music from his life and imagery from his life as well. So you're basically sitting in a room with Einstein 15 minutes. And after that, you go over, you sit with Thoreau for 15 minutes. And after that, you go over, you sit with Emily Dickinson for 15 minutes. And after that, you go over, you sit with Harriet Tubman for 15 minutes. And after that, Buddha. And after that, Jesus. And then Muhammad. I've covered every person I could think of, 240 people now. And it's Literati series. I just ask for your help. Join me. Let me know if there's someone you think I should do. But more importantly, every day I release a new episode on my YouTube channel. Every single day, a new episode. So if you're interested, please talk to Destiny. She'll get your information and I'll send you a link to join me with the Literati series. That's the main thing I'm doing right now. And then if you want to be a part of the retreats that we're doing, let Destiny know we have one coming up here not too long from now. So those are the only announcements I have.
Woohoo! That's awesome. So, just so you all know, all of these announcements can be found out in the hallway if you're here in person. We have a bulletin board, can be found online at our website. And also, if you receive our newsletter, they're also in the newsletter, which comes out every week. And if you're not getting our newsletter, you can sign up again on our website for the newsletter, and it will be sent to you. So, coming up, we have, and these are all meet in person with safety rules like we are today, live stream from the Lanai via YouTube and recorded on YouTube. You can, if you miss something, you can watch it on Monday on our YouTube channel. New Thought does finally have an official YouTube channel, right, Pasha? Yeah. So next Sunday is Julia Fairchild, and she's going to be talking about signs and wonders with music by Jazz Marlin. On the 18th, Reverend Beverly Strutt Fear to Faith. And she was just here a little while ago, and she is a really fascinating presenter. She's so much fun. And she is a Science of Mind minister. And we'll have music by Devora Kama. On the 25th, we're going to begin our series on remembering New Thought, and different people will be sharing. And on the 25th, Virginia Halliday, who is a founding member of this church, she's going to be talking about what happened 50 years ago and the origin of our center. So that should be absolutely fascinating. We have weekly classes of gentle yoga with Maria Mann on Mondays. And on the second Sunday of the month, there is a pre-healing meditation service with the crystal bowls in this room in here from 9 to 9:30. Don't be late. They lock the door at 9, and it's by donation. On the last Sunday of the month, we always have a produce giveaway. So if you have extra, bring it. And if you need anything, bring your bags and take it away. We have a special event coming up Saturday, July 10th with Dr. Maria Mann, Soul Medicine Yoga. And that's going to be from 11 to 4. And on Sunday, Beverly Strutt will be doing a workshop following her talk at 1:30 to 3, and that's going to be live by Love Offering. There are service opportunities. We have fabulous volunteers today that actually know what they're doing. It's so exciting. Our tech guys, I just really appreciate you all so much, and Pasha for all that she puts together too for these. It's a labor of love for sure. So we need ushers and sound system, live streaming people, clean up, help with the produce giveaway, and help with planning our 50th Jubilee for the center. Space still for rent? Oh, forget that one. Who? Oh, there's going to be a Rolfer in our beautiful little space down the hallway. If anybody needs Rolfing happening, that's an amazing experience. So we don't need to do that. So I think I've covered everything. I don't think I forgot anything except to wish you all just a fabulous 4th of July, and keep your focus no matter where you're being pulled. Keep your focus on your heart, and remember that everything that comes from you, at least, is love. And be that gift, be the Makana to the world with your love. We're going to stand up without going in a circle or holding hands and sing our closing song.